Hello everyone, this is Taryn with Wonderfully Made Handcrafting, and today I'm working on day 6 of ByTheWell4God's Contending for the Faith. Now today is a super simple page as long as you have some flower dyes and a die cutting machine. I personally am using the Holtz Brusthstroke Flowers, but I want to create a simple background as well. So here I am just laying down some tattered rose on the background, but I want to create kind of an ombre look with this, and so I take out some frayed burlap and I'm just going to use that around the edges. Now, obviously, there's quite a bit differentiation between these two colors, and so I want to blend them a little bit better. So I'll put this around the edges, and then I'll take my Dye Distress Oxide and blend that between the two colors. Now, after doing this, I really like how it blends, but I also want to bring up that tattered rose to the tea dye a little bit more, and so I'll retake out the tea dye and bring that up. Now, I don't have to go too heavy-handed with that tea dye because there's going to be a significant cluster in the center, so I don't have to do too heavy-handed with that. But I do want to add some texture to the background, so I just sprayed some water. Because it is Distress Oxide, it will oxidize and create a fun look. So those are the flower dyes that I used. I did see Lindsay created some flowers for one of her pages, and I just loved the look of it. So I decided to create a bunch with the background papers that were an add-on with this kit. I also had some faux rice paper that I created in a previous video that I'll try to link below. So I added that to the background as well. I did have this doily dye, but I decided to not use it. It was just kind of too much with all the flower pieces going on. But I did kind of want to speak to you about what day 6 devotional is all about. Now, if I had a choice, I would journal today in Jude 1:4. However, that page is already taken by a different date in this month's devotional. So let me just read it to you. Jude writes, I found it necessary to write appealing to you to contend for the faith that was once for all delivered to the saints. For certain people have crept in unnoticed, who long ago were designated for this condemnation, ungodly people who pervert the grace of our God into sensuality and deny our only Master and Lord, Jesus Christ. So instead of Jude, I am journaling today in 2 Peter 2:9-11, which says, Then the Lord knows how to rescue the godly from trials and to keep the unrighteous under punishment until the day of judgment, and especially those who indulge in the lust of defiling passion and despise authority. And so in this devotional, we also read a John Piper quote that I really wanted to include in this page. And he writes, The promise of victory assumes valor in battle. When God promises that his church will be kept from defeat, his purpose is not that we lay down our sword and go to lunch, but that we pick up the sword of the Spirit and look confidently to God for the strength to fight and win. So I included that quote on this little Kraft piece of paper. It's actually the back side of one of those flashcards from this month. And I used this photo. I believe it's an old Tim Holtz thing, but I'm not positive. It was sent to me by a friend and I loved it. I thought it went perfectly with this quote, just knowing that we have to stand up and fight. It's not just going to come to us. We have to contend for the faith. I also use the Mind Foundry Wax. This is kind of the, I don't know, I guess it's kind of rose goldish color. I thought it would match really well with what I have going on here. However, I wasn't crazy about it on this page, and so I ended up kind of knocking it down a little bit with some more frayed burlap around the edges. You can still see the metallicness of it, but I just wanted to knock it down a little bit. It just didn't seem like it went with what I had going on. So now it's basically about putting this cluster together, and so I'm going to put it together while it's off the page. I'm not going to glue each piece down on the page, but rather I'm going to glue the pieces to themselves in the cluster. So how I do this is just putting a little dot so it's easy to maneuver and move if I need to, and so that is the best way for me to do this. If you haven't put a cluster together off the page, try it sometime because I feel like you get better placement that way, but I may be wrong. So now I'm just kind of switching this floral piece around. I decided to put the more pink colors towards the photo so that they pop more with that black petal kind of hanging off. And then I have this little blue flower that I didn't know exactly where I wanted to place it, but I thought eventually that it kind of looked best in the bottom with that pink flower, and now we have a bunch of these greenery pieces. Now with this die set, it's actually fairly easy to put together. It shows you exactly how to put the different layers together, and the only other thing that I suggest doing with this die set is adding some distressing to the edges of each layer. It really kind of changes the flower piece and makes everything kind of pop. Each layer gives some definition to it. Now, if you saw me glue this cluster down, you notice that I only glued down the center portions. I wanted to leave the flower edges hanging up because I wanted to slide these greenery pieces behind them. That's going to be the easiest way to get the placement that you want. And so that is why I left the flower edges up, but you'll see me, once I have all these greenery pieces down, I will come back in and glue all those edges so that they're nice and tight to the page. Now, I did want to mention, because I know a lot of people think that the creative team members just can slap stuff on a page and it's good. However, these pages actually take a lot more time than you probably think. I fuss with stuff so much. So I'm just like you in the way that it just takes time. It's a lot of testing things out. And a lot of times those things get cut out of videos just because you probably don't want to see me testing different greenery pieces out for, 20 minutes. But so this video itself was an hour-long process. A lot of times my pages are about 2 hours. So don't get frustrated if you have to go and come back to a page or something's taking you longer than expected, because it does for me too. What's most important is that you're studying His Word and that you're hiding His Word in your heart. So by making something that is attractive and pleasing to my eye, I can remember exactly what I studied. And so I hope that is why you Bible journal as well. So to finish this page off, I am creating a little tab and I am just writing Valor on it with these mini tile alphas, and then this page will be done. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me over on Instagram at Wonderfully Made Handcrafting. I'll try to link everything I use down below in the description. And if you want to catch the video of me creating this faux rice paper, I'll link that one next. I hope you have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.